French, bro. Nobody will understand.
I can't rap.
What can you do?
I can smell.
Bad or good?
I'm smelling really bad right now.
Fuck. Why?
Because I think I forgot to put deodorant on.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you in a hurry this morning? Getting to the location here?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why'd you get up late?
I didn't. My kids did.
Your kids got up late? They don't have fucking alarm clocks and stuff?
No, my 7-month-old doesn't have an alarm clock.
Shame. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Shame on if you're watching this on your way home from work today, son. Shame on you.
Jesus.
No, he's fine. I think he has a few more weeks to get his own alarm clock. He's fine like that.
I guess.
But you don't only smell bad, you also look bad. No, I'm just kidding. No, you look good.
All right.
And you look even better if you tell me what we're doing today. Because today's a special one.
Today's a special day. We're trying to bring a little bit of fun because the podcasts have been really serious recently.
Very serious. Always
serious.
like a lot of
Very
talking.
serious.
A lot of...
And Phil, as the really creative individual he is, came up with a concept. I don't know where you stole it from, but
I didn't steal it, actually. I've never
No?
seen it. It just came to my mind.
we're going to go
How
A to
creative I am.
Z. So for all of you guys who are learning the
That's the
alphabet.
alphabet?
Yeah. So A,
How many
B,
letters?
C, between 26 and 26, I think. Depending on...
In between there.
Yeah.
I like that you give some creative
Yeah,
freedom.
yeah. I mean,
It's really nice.
some room to play. We're going to go through the alphabet, and I hope we won't mess up.
Yeah.
And
And
for
for
each
each
letter, sorry, I spaced out. For each letter, we're gonna come up with one filmmaking term, and we're gonna quickly talk about it and
Discuss what it is.
discuss
and,
what it
like,
is,
Go
and-
on. This
yeah.
can be a very short episode. Maybe it's going to take an hour. Who knows?
Maybe it's gonna take
We'll
at least
see.
26 minutes if we take 1 minute per thing. And
Really
we're
good.
already 2
Really
minutes
good.
47 in.
28 at least. So get ready. Get comfortable. Get a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some snacks.
Put your feet up and listen to this. And yeah, of course, if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you leave comments, rate the podcast, and do the same if you're on YouTube. Go on YouTube, watch our nice faces. You can't smell anything, so my body odor is
only
not
me.
going to be bothering you. And just subscribe, leave a comment, say that you like the podcast or you don't. But if you don't, just don't rate us. And
Please don't rate it.
and and that's the
But
thing.
if you do like it, in case, and you do enjoy it, then definitely leave some stars there.
for sure.
How many ever you like.
And leave us topic ideas or like if you
Yes.
have stuff you want us to talk about.
We've done quite a few by now.
Yeah.
But if we've covered something, we haven't covered something you would like to hear, then definitely
we will gladly
just send us a
go
message.
over this.
We're very open.
And if we can't answer this, we will get someone who can on the podcast.
for sure.
All right now.
Romain,
Yeah.
what's the term for the letter A in the alphabet? First letter that comes to
Okay,
your
so
mind.
first of all, before we start, this is not
Alright.
prepared at
No,
all.
like
so
always.
there might be a lot of blanks. Bear with us.
Which will not be edited. Just so you
we
know.
won't, as you know, Clap That Slate is a
There's no
podcast. There's
editing.
barely no editing going on. So sorry. Maybe it's going to be fast. Maybe not. But yeah. A.
Letter A. A camera.
No, it doesn't work like this.
What comes to your mind, Romain?
Aces.
Aces. What is
Aces. It's a color grading pipeline that you can use to match different cameras in the same color profile.
That was wow.
It's
That
not
was
prepared.
so
It's not
professional.
prepared
Shit.
at all.
Can I hire you?
Yes, sir.
Very nice.
What's the second letter of the alphabet, Phil?
It is B.
As in
As in B-roll.
B-roll. What's B-roll?
B-roll. I can't do it like you did. That was so smooth. I'm not even trying. So B-roll is referred to as footage that you usually use for interviews to cut away from the interview. For example, if we are now speaking about a gaffer, like if I'm in an interview and you're asking me about the movie I did, and I said, so this thing happened where we had this big lamp on a C-stand and it fell over, and you want to show a C-stand, or you want to show the lamp falling over. That's a really bad example, but anyway, you get the message.
Oh, you sandbags.
Then that's the B-roll. So you're not showing the interview of the person talking, but you are showing like images to underline what the person is
To
saying.
illustrate what the person is
Illustrate
saying.
or the line or
All right.
that is referred to as
That's a
A
good
roll
one.
and B roll.
A roll being the interview, the person talking, blah blah blah, talking head. B roll,
The cutaway.
like shots you could, cutaway shots. C,
C. That's for you.
that's easy. Camera. This is the thing we use to shoot stuff.
Camera. Oh, okay. So what does the camera exactly do?
Camera is. Jeez, fucking shut the fuck.
That was a cheap one.
Yeah.
Next one is
D.
D, as in D. Never mind. D.
Oh, I knew you were gonna do that.
I know. But to be fair, if it was the other way around, I know
would
what.
have. Of course.
D. What comes to my mind in D? I don't even know. I mean, simple stuff, but
Leave in a comment down below if you. think
yeah,
about
if you're quicker than us, just write it now. Write it now. But so far, nobody's written anything yet.
No. D. D-tab.
D-tab.
Yeah.
Good one.
D-tab.
D-tab is a type of
Let me guess.
D-tab is a type of plug which is often used. Wow.
Sorry.
Which is often used to power things. It's often found on V-mounts like this. This is a
We'll
D-tab.
talk about V-mounts and the letter V.
V.
But
It can be used to power different accessories, mostly on your camera, like
for instance,
wireless,
this
autofocus.
thing is a L series battery, a dummy one, with a cable and a D-tap, so we can plug the D-tap into the D-tap port of this thing or D-tap splitter on the camera, and then you can power your monitor with this if you want.
So basically, it's a plug. Like
it's a type of plug. It's
tab-
like USB.
like USB,
Yeah.
USB-C, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Good job.
I think I've never seen it anywhere else than in like filmmaking equipment.
Yeah, maybe in
Maybe it's unique to filmmaking.
maybe like shows like video like
What?
I don't know, lights the
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe probably.
What's
not.
after D?
E, like elephant.
E.
It's your turn. E, like
Electronic ND.
sure. Wow, you're getting creative.
Dude.
Electronic ND.
What's it? Do you wanna go?
No, I did the D-tab. You can do the END.
Electronic VND is like the type of neutral density filters that can be found on cameras like the Sony FX6. And essentially, instead of being like a variable ND, where ND is basically sunglasses for your camera to like keep a good exposure while keeping your shutter angle or shutter speed at the right 180 or whatever degrees you want to.
And then maybe from ND, you
So-
have to explain VND. VND
Yeah.
is a variable
So
ND.
ND is it's just like a piece of glass, like these sunglasses. VND goes for variable ND. It's basically an ND filter with a circular polarizer in front of it that you turn, and it decreases or increases the intensity of the ND, which brings a lot of
Making the image darker or
darker,
brighter.
brighter, basically. And electronic variable ND is basically the ND is either increased or decreased by
The electricity that's going
the
through it.
electricity that's going through it. And it's pretty cool because you can basically increase or decrease the exposure without actually seeing either a piece of glass or like something moving heavily in front of the camera. That's cool. Like the FX6, you can basically set your exposure to a certain value. And if you go from outside to inside, the electronic neutral density filter will adjust to keep the exposure.
So basically, what this can do is it can go through the NDs without stops. It can go smooth
Exactly.
through, which before you had electronic NDs, it would just be like a wheel that would spin and it would put different glasses in front,
Exactly.
like between the mount and between the camera and the lens.
And a sensor. Yeah.
Yeah, and back then you would actually like physically change the glass,
Yeah.
which you would definitely see inside a shot.
Exactly.
Yeah, That was E.
A, B, C, D, E, F. Easy.
As in follow focus.
Oh, shit. I was not thinking about that.
What were you thinking about?
F stop. But that's all right.
Oh, that's good.
What's
Follow
a
focus.
What's a follow focus, Phil?
Follow focus is either is an item, like how do you call it? An item, yeah.
An accessory, like
An accessory, yeah, that's even better. It's an accessory for your camera that allows you to pull the focus either wirelessly, there's wireless follow focus, or physically on like rods on your camera, and with gears on your lens and the follow focus, you can pull it much easier than having to grip around your lens. You can just have a wheel next to your camera or a wheel wirelessly, as in like a focus puller first AC, and it makes pulling focus much easier and smoother.
What's the advantage of using a follow focus compared to just like grabbing the focus ring and turning it like this?
Well, first of all, I think holding like just the placement where you do it, like let's say you have a shoulder rig and you need to like go around it to like pull and then like grab after it.
If you're not on YouTube, please go watch this explanation.
This will be a real tool.
Yeah.
But then whereas when you have a wheel, it's like turned by 90 degrees. Instead of turning like this, you can turn like this, and like it's much easier to
it's easier
operate.
on your wrist, and you can also be a little bit more precise, I feel like.
Yeah, they have like different, so usually a follow focus, it has a nice resistance, whereas you're not too fast and not too slow. On lenses, especially photo lenses, it's a pain. You'll know.
And wireless follow focuses is basically the first AC on a shoot who would be responsible to pull focus. Pulling focus means the image is clean, like focused.
Sharp.
Can basically do this wirelessly, so it doesn't have to be touching the camera. It just has like a wireless unit, and there's a wireless motor on the camera that just turns the focus ring around. That's it.
So then the cameraman DP can run around, and the first AC can be still with like wireless image, of course. He needs to see the image, and can pull that from like a steady place, and doesn't need to run around with the DP.
So A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
G as in?
The one I wanted to say is not that great.
What is it?
Gear, but it's not great. It's like
Gaffer?
Gaffer. What's the gaffer? What's
That's
a gaffer?
your turn. You go.
What's a gaffer? Gaffer is the person responsible
For
light. I don't know if you can see the lights, but yeah. Gaffer is someone responsible for lighting whatever you need to be lit. So someone who's very well aware of like the technical aspects of lights, but also like understanding of like what the DP wants and understanding some of the more filmmaking DP terms, bringing like, that's it. The person who's in charge
He's
of like
basically
lighting.
the boss of the lighting department.
Yeah.
And then you have electricians and best boys and people like doing, but the gaffer is actually
And I
deciding
think depending
what to work
on where you are, the gaffers sometimes don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but you know there are grips in charge of like building like rigs, gaffers, and in some countries I think gaffers are both. Like the terminology is like both. I'm not
really?
sure. Yeah, I think so. There's some discrepancies between like I think the US and like
know.
Europe and stuff like this. Yeah.
All right.
But gaffer is basically the one who makes it look nice, essentially.
Yeah.
H.
H.
Yeah. As in
Haze.
haze.
H as in haze.
What's haze?
So haze is referred to a certain type of smoke that a lot of productions that maybe you know them from like stages. Like if you've been to a concert, they have haze and smoke machines, like shooting out smoke and haze. And basically what haze does is it gives some certain texture into the air. It's very small particles. And smoke is like the stuff you see. You see smoke as you know it, but haze, it's much more diffused, it's much more spread through. And what this allows you is that you can see beams of light, like on concerts and stuff. Ooh.
So
we try it here.
Yeah, we can. Of course.
And yeah, it allows you to see like beams of light. Like if you've ever seen a production in a film where you can see the beam of light, and you're like, how did they do that? They do
What's
that
the
by
difference
using haze.
between smoke and haze?
I just explained that.
Oh, you just explained
Yeah.
this. Sorry, I was just like.
You were gone getting.
So
canned
haze, you can have like you have a haze machine. It's basically like a big rectangle, a cube. You plug it in. You have some like haze fluid
some
in
liquid.
there.
You need some liquid. For
Yeah,
that,
and then it basically
it heats up. It heats up the liquid and
Yeah.
disperses it by like blowing it into the room.
exactly. Or you have other options to do that, and it's not a very good options because I feel like it leaves residues on like tables and stuff, especially if you shoot like product. But this. It's a haze in a can. It's called atmosphere aerosol, and basically it does this thing. And well, yeah, my studio is too big, but basically it gives a little bit of atmosphere to the room.
So now, maybe on camera you will see that
I'm not sure
the
if you
beam
can
of
see it.
light. It's much more. You can see that there's a light on top
Yeah,
of here.
it basically gives texture to light.
You can see light in air, basically.
Yeah. Did you talk? Yeah, light
Yeah,
shafts and stuff.
yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
MC,
that's haze.
8
I.
I.
I as in. Oh. I have something, but I'll let you go first.
Fuck, I don't have anything. I. Is it obvious?
No.
Go.
IR. Infrared.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah. Ooh, yes.
You want to explain it? You should. I did haze. You should.
No,
do
explain
IR.
it. Explain it. Explain it.
You want me to explain it?
Okay, so IR, infrared pollution.
Pollution, yeah. Infrared is a
I-
big term, but
Infrared pollution. So IRP.
I
You want
guess.
to do anagrams. It's basically your sensor catching infrared information from the sun
or any light.
or
really.
any light, and it messes with the colors, especially the blacks, and that's a problem with a lot of cameras that don't have IR filters, or even ND filters that don't have IR filters. Basically, it gives a red hue to your blacks, I found, and it doesn't look good. So there are some IR cut filters to basically filter through those infrared rays. I don't know how you call
Waves,
them.
yeah.
Waves.
It's so maybe to just go back. I mean, just to go a little bit back.
You should have explained it.
No. But I'm not 100% on this, so don't quote me. But I think it's a certain like
Wavelength.
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 Of light.
That's exactly what I was.
And that wavelength
Yeah.
is that infrared that we can't see by eye.
Yeah.
And it's a problem with digital sensors only.
yeah.
It wasn't a problem with film. But with digital sensors, they somehow react to it. And if there's a lot, which sunlight has a lot of it, then it can, like you said, mess with your picture. And you can see like a red tint to your blacks. And
Yeah.
also skin tones can be
It looks
different.
bad.
And yeah, there's filters for that to cut it out and help for
Yeah.
digital sensors, basically.
And some cameras are more subject to this than
Yeah.
others.
But I think it's a very hard thing to see because you can see it, but you don't know
if you see
don't
it side by
know-
side, like two.
Yes, if you see it side by
that's
side, but if
obvious.
you see it, sometimes it's very hard to understand. Other than if you know your sensors and you know
Yeah.
exactly what it looks like. But starting out, I've probably had a lot of IR pollution and I didn't realize it. I was just like, why is that color not? Why is it so red? And
Yeah,
to fight against it in grading.
yeah, too magenta.
So if you see like your skin tones turning like a weird red and your blacks like getting red, especially in the sun outside,
Yeah,
might be IR pollution.
nice. That's a good one.
Yeah.
J,
Technical. J
as in
jaywalk.
don't do that.
Oh.
Do you have one?
Yeah. I do.
Is it obvious?
No. I mean, obvious. I don't know how your brain works. It might be obvious, maybe not.
J as in.
You got it.
I have no
No?
idea. No, nothing.
Want me to say it?
Yeah.
Jump cut.
Fuck. That's
a
you
good one,
good.
huh?
You're good at this. Did you prepare this?
No, I didn't.
Jump cut. What's a jump cut?
Jump cut.
I have to think about editing. I'm only thinking about filming.
I know what you're thinking of.
Huh?
What are you thinking of? Gear.
No.
Of course. No?
No. Just like
So a jump cut is basically in editing when you have a same shot or almost same shot and you jump in time. So let's say we are talking and instead of cutting to a close-up, like let's say I'm fucking up now and I need to go pee and you want to cut this out, you would need to cut to another camera so we don't notice the cut. But if you stayed on the wide shot and you just cut it from me talking to me coming back from the toilet, then you would see that cut because in one shot my hand is here and one is here.
Yeah.
You would feel the cut.
And it's been really used over the recent years in all of these social media content like YouTube
Yeah, for example,
videos.
also YouTubers.
Yeah,
when they talk,
YouTubers.
they don't bother. A lot of people don't bother anymore, like cutting this away or making this hidden. It's okay. Like just jump.
Jump cut.
That's what a jump cut is.
Okay.
Basically a cut in time that you can see.
Exactly. Okay. Keyframe. Keyframe. Now I'm thinking about editing.
Now we are.
Keyframe, it's basically when you're editing a footage, like editing videos, and you have one clip, and you want, for instance, to zoom in digitally in this clip, you set keyframes with different values. So let's say you want your clip to be 100%, to fill in the whole frame, and then you want to zoom in like 2 times into Phil's face. So what you need to do is set a first keyframe in the beginning of the clip 100%.
Where the zoom begins.
When the zoom begins, and then where the zoom ends, you set another keyframe and you put the 200% value. So you basically have this zoom.
So basically the video will zoom from the first keyframe to the second until it's
Exactly.
reached that 200% and then stay there until you
Exactly.
have another keyframe.
And this is one of the most important concept to grasp, but it's very easy because a lot of things rests on this.
And this is not only filmmaking, this is 3D work.
3D
this
work,
is,
everything
graphic
visual,
work.
basically.
It is probably also music. I think also music
Of
programs
course,
have
like
keyframes,
the
levels,
Yeah.
sounds,
Yeah.
Yeah.
L. I have another one.
Yeah?
Go.
You go-
No,
you go now.
I got keyframe.
Low boy.
Ooh.
What'd you have?
I had L cut.
Alka.
Yeah.
A good one too.
Yeah.
You want to go low boy?
Low boy.
So low boy is basically a type of not
Stand.
like light stand, not a tripod, a light stand, and it's one that I know it as one. Maybe some other people refer to it differently, but it's a low stand on wheels. So it has 3 legs that you can clap out, and they are 3 legs, really flat with wheels, and usually you put monitors on there or small stuff like flags or a small light even that you need low. Comes in very. I think I use it the most with monitors because I love this stand for monitors.
Yeah, or if you need.
It's very low,
yeah.
it holds the weight also because it has a wide base. Yeah, that's it.
Maybe I'm mistaken, but every time I talk about low boys, it's anything that's like a combo stand that's low, basically.
Maybe.
And
I know it as the one with wheels, but maybe it's in general a low boy.
When I go rent stuff, low boy is basically like a small combo stand.
Yeah.
So something you can, not like C stands when you just have one pin coming in, but just something you can boop, shove stuff
Exactly.
in.
That's a low boy.
M.
M.
What's M?
I have one that's boring.
M. How's that so hard?
I have a second one, but I don't know. That's also not too interesting.
I have one,
Yeah?
but it's
Go for it.
boring.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
I have Matthews, but it's just a brand.
Okay, sure.
Matthews is one of the most well-known industry standard brand of grip gear. So a light modifier to some extent. So They do a lot of low boys, combo stands, C stands. They also do like diffusion fabrics, so silk. They do a lot of flags, stuff like it's just a brand, and it's
a brand that produces very nice quality,
nice quality,
high quality, and more expensive.
It's on the more expensive side, but to be fair, like all the Matthews stuff I own, I'm probably gonna go on them for like ever.
Matthews, for example, produces low boys.
Yeah.
Nice. N
we said ND already.
Yeah, that one's gone.
Do you got one?
Yeah, but it's a funny one.
Go for it. If you said these nuts, I'm like hitting you.
These nuts? No, Nifty 50.
Oh,
came to my mind.
All right, now let's go. What's a Nifty 50?
A Nifty 50. I actually don't know why it's called that way.
It's just, I think it's like the most basic lens you get.
But it's like
Omar
just said, it's a 50 millimeter lens, which is usually one of the cheaper lenses.
Yeah.
Because it's a standard lens and everybody needs it and uses it. It's like right in between. It's not too close. It's not too wide. You can use it for almost anything.
Yeah.
And it's for a lot of people, it's the first lens they get.
Yeah.
Also, for me, it was that way. I had the first lens beside my like kit zoom lens for my first photo camera. Was like a 50 mil.
Because everybody says like you need a 50 to take portraits.
Yeah, but honestly, it's also like just the cheapest you can get. It's like for $100 mostly. You can get like a nice lens with a wide aperture.
Yeah, 1.8 something.
Like 1.8.
Plasticky, but looks good.
But mostly for photography. And a Nifty 50 is just like most people start with that as their first prime lens and kind of playing around.
Yeah.
Do you know why it's called Nifty 50?
I think it's just because it's like a cheap 50. I don't know.
Nifty 50.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. So what's after?
Oh.
I feel like there are so many. Like
I'm sure there's. Also, before you said modifiers while explaining Matthews, and I was like, modifiers would have been an nice one for him.
Yeah.
Oh. Brand comes to mind.
Optical view. I don't know.
What?
Optical viewfinder.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Why not?
Optical viewfinder. I think it's more of the term optical. I think it's more. Maybe is it work for video or is it only photo? Optical viewfinder. Did they have like?
How do you call it for a cinema camera? Like a VLF?
VLF. Yeah.
What's vision?
VF. Viewfinder.
Oh.
Anyways, let's talk photo a little bit. So optical viewfinder versus
that's photo
versus electronic viewfinder is basically when you look inside your camera, when you don't look at the screen when you take pictures, but you look inside the viewfinder. If what you see is real life and not a screen, that's an optical viewfinder. And if you see is like a screen, that's an EVF. So
mirrorless cameras, you're basically looking at almost always you're looking at the screen.
Yeah.
So there's a screen in the...
Exactly.
And with mirrorless cameras, you were looking at the real life because there was a mirror mirroring the real light through the lens into your eye.
And on cameras like the one Phil has around his neck for some reasons, you can actually switch between EVF and...
Which is very nice, yeah.
Yeah, you can switch.
So it feels like an old analog camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Because analog cameras didn't have monitors in them. So you would see the real light through the lens.
Exactly.
So there's a mirror here. Goes up and there's a mirror here and it shoots it through your eyes. Actually, no, this one has an old screen. So this one is fake. This has a screen, so you're looking right through. But usually you had like, with mirrorless, you were looking at like the light through the lens. With mirrors, I mean.
Yeah.
You would look through
DSLRs.
the lens, but here you don't look through the lens, you look through this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is actually kind of confusing sometimes because you're seeing...
The perspective is kind of weird.
The right perspective.
Yeah.
When you're seeing this and you click, and it's shifted.
Exactly.
Which was a first for me.
Yeah.
That was O. P.
Jesus Christ, I have to go through the entire alphabet.
Me too.
P.
PA.
Yeah, what's a PA?
What's a PA?
You go ahead.
PA is a production assistant. And it's usually referred to just the person on set who does everything and anything that's needed.
Yeah.
It's like mostly people who want experience on sets, or I was a PA when I was an intern at a production company, for example, and I did like anything that was needed on set. The PA like drives around, gets stuff when it's needed, gets people from the train station when they arrive, actors, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they help, like sometimes a PA helps the second AC, like moving stuff, or I don't know, the light guys need something, whatever. It can be a lot of things, but the PA is assisting the whole production.
Yep.
And also mostly in pre-production. So,
And they're really important.
They're very important.
Yeah, very, very important.
Because on film shoots, there's so much stuff that cannot be done by a certain person because it's in between. Like a lot of times I would go get directors that were flown in from international countries, from other countries. They were flown into Switzerland for a production, and I would go get them at the airport, bring them to the hotel, print, like make call sheets and print them and send them to everyone, and do a lot of different things, which I think is a really good job to get into the film industry and understand a lot of parts in the industry, because you get to see so many different departments, and you see in everything and do almost everything once. It's also very stressful, I have to say. It's not fun because you're just a person for anything. Can be fun depending on who you work with, but it can also be very stressful because you will just get the trash work a lot of times, to be honest. Like stuff people don't want to do, or just
I feel
don't
like
have the time.
PAs, it's not like, and maybe I'm mistaken and I apologize if I do, but it's not something you do for your entire life. It's most
likely not. It's
when
a
you
gate
start off
into something.
You get into like something more specific.
And if you want to produce, then you move up to line producer or produce, and then executive producer. And
exactly.
Yeah, it's most of the time it's something to learn and get experience, and you want to get out of there as quick as you can.
Yeah.
Which for some people maybe not.
Yeah.
They have better experiences.
Shout out to all the PAs out there making life on set possible.
Also depends on the size of. I think there's people in Hollywood who do only PA. But that's a different kind of
level,
PA.
Yeah.
It's a different level, I guess. Q-tips. What do you use Q-tips?
Clean lenses. No.
No.
Do you got one?
No, that's.
I
was gonna say cadrage, but that's not Q.
No.
You have one?
I have Quasar tubes.
No brands.
No brands. I said Matthews before. You didn't say anything.
But that's over now. Q as in quality.
I guess.
Not really.
You could say quality of light, and then
sure. What's quality of light?
Just the type, because light has very. You can like
light isn't light.
Light is just like. Let me start again. It's quality of light is just like how the light affects whatever you're filming, and how you there are multiple ways you can modify light to make it harder. So that harder means you can see the transition between the shadow and the bright part is very clear, and it's like a line. This happen often if you look at your shadow when.
So this is very soft.
This is very soft. But if you look at your shadow when you're outside in a sunny day at noon, for instance, you can see that the light is really, really hard.
Like a straight edge.
And if you use modifiers, we have a lantern on top of us. So lantern is basically a big China lamp.
Light bulb.
It's not made of China. It's just like it's whatever. But it diffuses the light a little bit, and that means that the shadows you can see on our faces are a little softer, not as hard. It doesn't look like we're outside. It looks like we're in a studio environment. And the quality of light is basically how you want the light to look. And this is a big impact of a big part of like being a DP is deciding like how do you want the light to look.
I was first like thinking of like the quality of a light source.
Oh shit, yeah, that
like,
as well.
No,
yeah.
You're right. But I was first thinking of that, like how good is the light source and how much different colors it has in it.
So yeah, basically.
No, it's okay. We stay with it.
Okay.
Quality of light, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Does the temperature also go into quality of light, or that's not?
It might be. Because
I'm not sure.
It might be because like temperature, I'm not sure, but like for instance, if you bounce light of like unbleached muslin, the quality of light is gonna be, I guess, different from if you
I'm not
balance
sure.
on the ultraviolet. No, maybe not. Actually,
Maybe
no.
not.
I
Doesn't
think the
make
color
sense.
is no. I
Color
think it's just
doesn't
like
have to do
the.
it.
I think the hardness of the shadows, basically.
Yeah. And the light. Yeah. That's Q.
R.
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 Oh,
Go.
rolling shutter.
Oh shit!
Rolling shutter is a good
That's
one.
a good one. How can I call it? I go. What's rolling shutter?
So rolling shutter is a phenomenon that you have in digital sensors, because it's mostly on not only cheaper cameras, because actually expensive cameras have that too, but
Very little.
so
camera.
it's
Every-
the thing that sensors, they read the sensor not in like it's not one image, but it reads the sensors in layers. So first layer, second layer, very fast, of course, in like milliseconds. But still, there's some difference from the first row of pixels and the last, maybe like 20 milliseconds are in between. And so when you move the camera very fast, you have this phenomenon that if you pan left and right very fast, I'm sure you have seen it somewhere before, or if not, test it. And if you pan very fast and you have vertical lines in your footage, they will start bending, because this first row is still scanning, or the last row is still scanning, and you're already moving again. And that's referred to as rolling shutter. And I think a lot of people don't like that. It's not something you want. A global shutter is a camera that can scan the whole image in one picture, and you don't have these bending lines. And which is very sought after, and I think for a lot of action stuff and fast moving stuff.
and
people
also
want a
for
global
VFX,
shutter.
I think it's like a lot easier for
VFX
VFX
also, yeah.
artists to like work with
Pixels will
global
be
shutter.
like all over the place.
Not all rolling shutters are created equals. As you said, the amount of time it takes to scan the entire image like varies a lot from one camera
Yeah.
to another.
There's really fast.
For instance, all Alexa cameras, there's no one global shutter in Ari's lineup, but they have really fast like readout.
So the time from the first row to
Exactly.
the last is so fast that you barely can tell
barely
that
see.
there's a difference.
But if you look at like cheaper cameras, for instance, the latest Blackmagic just came out, the full frame, the rolling shutter the readout is a little slower. That means that you'll have like a lot of those jelly lines.
So the longer the readout time is, which is from the first line
Yep.
to the last line of the sensor,
Exactly.
the more rolling shutter you're gonna have.
Good job. That's a good one.
That was a good one.
S. Slate.
Shutter. Slate.
Slate.
Ooh, clap the slate.
Clap that. I don't know why I did this. It's just
I was like, what are you gonna say now?
I was gonna say.
What is a slate?
What's a slate?
It's up to you.
You say it.
What?
I don't
No,
know.
you said slate.
Slate.
Yeah.
Slate. Slate is basically.
Do you have a slate here? I'll just wait. It's gonna be even more. And no, I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna lose every viewer we ever had. But if you would like me to sing, then we can do an episode about it. Just write in the comments. Ooh,
Hey, I'm about to
clap that slate. Nice. So that's a slate.
That's a slate. So basically, or it could be called a clap, or I don't know. It's usually slate. It's basically something we use to match different cameras and the sound. That means that
To synchronize them.
To synchronize, yeah. Not match the colors, but synchronize. For instance, we have 3 cameras. 1, 2, 3. We only have one source. The mics are just connected to an external recorder. That means that in post-production, when we edit, we need to have a way to know how to like position the different tracks and the
So they're in
video.
sync.
They're in sync. And doing this basically gives like a sharp
Sound.
sound where you can match all your stuff on.
So then in your video editing program,
Yeah,
when it synchronizes, it looks out for these peaks in the waveform,
exactly.
and it will know, oh, that's probably matching, where it's very loud. It doesn't. It's not often very loud.
And the
And
Slate
it will
also
synchronize
has like another utility. You have different information on this in case like you're not editing or you're not in charge of post-production.
And if you clean it once in a while, then you can actually
this one
read
is
it.
really dirty. But yeah. So you have production. This is like whatever. Let's say I'm shooting the next Batman. Just say Batman. Maybe we have to blur. I don't know. Like we can see some of the clients. But you have roll. This doesn't really matter. It's just like basically the number of the card you're shooting on. The scene, depending on the scene. Okay. Shot, depending on the shot within the scene. Okay. Because one scene can have multiple shots. And take is the amount of like the number of the take you're shooting. So
if you're shooting the same scene, the same shot 10 times, you have to take 1, 2, 3, 4.
5, 6, 7, 8. Then you have director, just for references, cameraman, which is like DOP, the date. And on some others, you have more information on if it's a day exterior, whatever, day, interior, night, exterior, and stuff like this. And you can also add, in case you're not in charge of post-production and a lot of people are involved, like the type of lenses used, the type of camera used, the type of filtration used as well, either ND filters
f-stop.
or f-stop, but also like let's say you use ProMist or like Hollywood Glimmer Glass or like something. You can just put this in here so everybody knows what they're working with.
And I think that's mostly used for VFX. So the VFX person knows exactly when he's looking at the shot, he can know like how to properly do it. Yeah, I think for VFX it's very important. And also the purpose, it's not only the clapping, but it's also having, so what you want is as soon as you press record, you want this thing in the frame so that the first frame, basically the thumbnail in editing, will be this frame. So you can, without watching the clips, you can see what take, what scene you're looking at. So the editor is much faster in the
Exactly, because like if you shoot like a lot of scenes and a lot of like whatever, like you will keep track of like the good ones on set, and then the editors knows, okay, so
has notes of like what scene is the best take.
Scene 1, take 2
is the best.
Like is the best,
and so you can quickly jump to that and edit that. Exactly. That saves, like if you're editing a feature film, that saves a lot of time just having not to have to look at 1,000 takes and clips.
Exactly. So we got T-stop.
T-stop?
What's T-stop?
So that's actually a confusing one. Before I didn't know that for a long time. So f-stop, probably most people know from the lenses. It says f-stop f2.8, which is the amount of light it lets in the lens. Basically also how wide open the aperture can go. And the lower this number, the more light comes in, and the nicer and probably more expensive the lens will be. And the difference between T-stop is usually used on cinema lenses. And the difference is for f-stop is reading the light that's coming at the very front of the lens. Theoretically.
Yeah.
And T-stop is measuring the light when it hits the sensor, so after it's gone through the lens. And how lenses work is the light is being bounced and going through these different glasses in the lens. And basically you lose some light by this traveling through the,
if you have a lot of glass elements, because like in the lens there are a lot of elements.
So usually the T-stop will be higher than the f-stop because it's actually, it has a little bit less light after the lens than before. So maybe a f2.8 will be a T3 on a cinema lenses. It's the same, but it's just a different reading.
And I think it makes a lot of sense using this for cinema lens, because f-stop for photo lenses, so it's basically, as you said, like the light coming in on the front element. But T-stop, measuring the light coming out of a lens, allows you to have the exact same
for different lenses
value for like all the lenses in the same set. Because for instance, if you take like a photo lens that's f1.4, like a 35, and then you take the 50, maybe there are more glass elements in there, and like longer. The 1.4 is not exactly the same. Whereas for cinema lenses, if you take a 35 and like an 85 from the same set, the exposure is going to be the same.
Yeah.
All right.
It's very slight. It's a very slight difference, but on big productions and very calculated,
just more accurate
things, it's a bit more accurate. But you will only see that on cinema lenses, T-stops.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense on photo lenses.
Yeah. You. Lord, we're getting tired. You as in U-Haul. No.
I thought about it as well. That's crazy, no? You as in you. You.
You as in uncut? As in one take?
Is it one take?
One.
You. Fuck. Is there anything? You as in
Unfiltered.
sure.
You. That's a hard one. If you have a good one for you,
Are we skipping
write it
this
in the
one?
comments. No, we can't skip anything, man. UV light.
UV light. Go.
It's not really filmmaking, but
No.
still, we can talk about it.
UV filter.
Is there a UV filter? Really? What's I don't know you. I don't know. That's yours. I don't know what a UV filter is.
Sometimes people like get UV filters to protect their lenses.
Oh,
They screw in UV filters because it's basically like a transparent filter
That's true.
that blocks some of the UV light or wavelength. I don't know. I'm not a physicist, but it prevents damage from the lens from the UV light, but also damage from the lens if like a pebble or like a piece of something like goes onto your lens, it's gonna scratch the UV filter and not the front element of the lens.
so it's just a
protection.
natural piece of glass you put in front of your lens.
It might have like some like UV blocking capabilities, but I have no idea how that.
I don't know either. That's why I was like, huh? But yeah, UV filters you call
Yeah.
them. So if you see UV filters, usually it's just a piece of glass to protect the front element of your lens.
Yeah, it's like clear. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice one. Nice save.
Yeah. UV then.
V.
Yeah. Is it V? UV. Then V.
V.
W X Y Z.
V.
V.
You said V mount earlier.
Go V mount then.
Sure.
Yeah.
So V mount, you had it here earlier. A V mount is a type of battery, or it's actually a type of mount, which is usually used on batteries. And it's called V mount because it has this V form locking mechanism on it, which you can see here. And it's very nice because you can just clamp it in and it holds very sturdy. It has like a lever that goes in here, and then to unlock it, you have to push a button and get it out. So these hold very well. They're used on most cinema cameras. There's other ones you can use, but it's a very, very popular one. And yeah, like we said, there's D-tap usually because they're big batteries. There's D-tap and USB, so you can attach accessories to it and power not just your camera, but also accessories and other things from it, which is super nice. And Romain is back after a quick dip. That's
Did you talk
V-mount.
about the other type of mounts?
No, but
Gold mounts, B mount.
yeah.
Different
I just
mounts.
said there's different mounts. This is a V mount. There's gold mounts. Other
Standard
ones.
in Europe.
But very, very standard and very nice if you have this. You can use it on a lot of different things like lights, cameras, accessories, monitors.
Yeah.
Very nice.
They can run really expensive too. So
Yeah, but you'll have them for a while if you get a good one. W.
W.
Waterboarding. Whiteboard. No, it's not. You don't call it a whiteboard.
Yeah.
It's a foam board.
Windex.
Bounce board.
W.
We're getting tired, huh?
Yeah, it's hard. Like I think no one is listening to this. If you listen to this, like now,
If you're
just
still
comment.
waiting on W, then thank you.
W is
White balance.
white balance. God damn, let's
Good
go.
one.
What's white balance, Phil?
What is white balance? So white balance is telling the camera or your light. No, white balance is telling the camera what light it should consider as white. So basically, this light right here is at 5,600 Kelvin, which is the light temperature. And for your camera, it doesn't know that. So in order for the camera to capture the light and the image correctly, you have to tell the camera what kind of light you're shooting in. So when I say white balancing the camera, you would go into the camera in the white balance setting and telling the camera, hey, what I'm shooting is 5,600 Kelvin. So this will be true white when it captures it. Whereas when you set it to 7,000, this light will not be white as like your eye see it, but it will be much warmer because the camera is rating the 7,000 Kelvin as white, and anything below it will be much warmer. Anything above it will be cooler. And that way you can also
That's really nice.
capture light warmer. Like you could, if you would shoot this in, like I said, 7,000, we would be much warmer and it would look like a warm light.
Nice.
So you can cheat it in camera. That's white balance. Do you have anything to add to that?
No. X.
Is that? No. XYZ, yeah. X.
X can YouTube.
We might have to Google that.
X-ray. Can we say external recorder? You might as well, no?
I guess if we can't find anything else, yeah.
Okay.
External recorder.
External recorder.
What's an external recorder?
So basically, when you shoot video, you can choose between different type of codecs. For instance, on like the Blackmagic, you can shoot Blackmagic RAW, B-RAW, or you can shoot ProRes. But on some lower end cameras or some other cameras, you don't have the luxury to choose between like some of the codecs. For instance, if you shoot on like a Sony, for instance, and you really want to shoot ProRes, which is a very standard codec, you might want to use an external recorder, which basically takes the video signal from the camera
through an HDMI cable
or SDI, I believe that's possible too, and feeds it into a recorder that will record that particular image you send into the codec you want. So ProRes, for instance. I think most people use it for ProRes or RAW.
At the moment, it's also very, like a lot of cameras you buy today can record RAW, but not internal because their processors are not good enough to save the data that's coming in because it's a lot.
Yeah.
So it can record RAW through the HDMI. Exactly. And then if you have an external recorder, it allows you to record RAW or ProRes, like you said. But it's really specific, so you need to really check your camera manufacturer and the manufacturer of the recorder to figure out, does my recorder and my camera allow me to record whatever I want? Yeah. And mostly these recorders are screens, basically, with SSDs attached to them.
Like Atomos is like one of the most famous one with the Ninja 5. And
yeah.
Nice.
External, I like that. Why? Why the fuck are we here still?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking myself every day.
Why?
Why?
Why are we doing this, Romain?
I don't know.
Why?
There must be like a Y clamp or something, like Y stand or like a T-bar or something. You know,
Yamaha.
Y. Ypsilon.
Ypsilon, yeah.
How do you say that in French?
Y.
Yeah. Nice.
Good one, huh?
Yeah. I'll
try to Google this.
We'll have to edit that out.
No. That will stay. Realness, people. I'll Google this. Film term with Y.
Yeah.
Hold on, people.
I'll twerk in the meantime. Just kidding.
Film team? Shit, I'm so slow. Film term with Y. Oh, Studio Binder has done this before us. Let's go to Y. Thank you, Studio Binder, for sponsoring this podcast. We're on your website currently and looking at your definitive glossary of film terminology.
It appears to be a very slow website.
Yes, and when I click Y, nothing happens. That's a long time sliding.
Oh, shit.
Let's see. So we are at Z. Oh, and there we are.
There's nothing on Y.
I'm sure there's. Where are we at?
No, Y, X, Y, Z. So
there's nothing at Y. No, you're too far. That's W.
Yeah, XYZ. Oh, fuck. What did we say
W?
for W? We didn't do W.
Yes, we did. White balance.
Oh, shit, yeah.
So X we did.
And so Y there's nothing according to Studio Binder. And if you guys want to...
There's nothing.
if you think about something...
They didn't think of anything for X2. Guys, you can do external recorder. There's nothing for X and nothing for Y. So we are not bad. It's the film
So
business.
now are we on the last letter?
Yes.
Finally, can we release the people from listening to this?
Yeah.
If you're driving, please drive safe. I know we've pretty put you to sleep, but just like...
If you haven't done any accidents by now,
Please
congrats.
drive
You're a really good
safe.
driver.
Hey, Z, I got
No
one.
road rage.
I got one.
You got one for Z?
Zebra.
Did you see it on here?
No.
They don't have that.
Studio
Studio
Binder.
Binder. Call us if you need some terms.
Jesus Christ, Studio Binder, get your shit together. What the?
What is
fuck?
zebra? We're not on
Zebras,
safari,
bro.
baby.
Yeah, zebra. No safari. You might see zebras on safaris, but zebra is just a tool you can use to get good exposure, and basically it will show black lines on areas of the image above a certain amount of exposure. And this is
So mostly it's used for clipping.
it's used for clipping. So let's say you don't want to clip your highlights. So you don't want to clip the really bright parts of your image, and you know you're clipping at like 100. So you set your zebras to be at 95. So as soon as you see black lines going up in the sky or like on someone's skin and stuff, you know that you can't go any higher in terms of exposure. So you have to adapt something, either bring down the light, ND, use your electronic viewing ND filters, or do anything to like bring the zebras down. This is something I've never really used that much, to be honest, because I like false color much better. But I used it a little bit when I was shooting a lot, but like smaller Sony cameras.
I use it usually on the FX6
Yeah, exactly.
because when I'm like documentary filming and
They don't
running
have false
filming,
color.
it's really easy. I set the zebra to what I want the skin tones at. So very quickly when I'm filming people, which you're filming a lot of times, I can just look at the monitor, and if the skin tones of this person
Yeah.
are like with zebras, I'm like, I'm good with the exposure more or less. But one thing I see a problem with that you mentioned, you set it to 95 and then no, you cannot go above. I never understood why. I know some people do that, and I never understood why, because my problem with this is if it starts showing zebra, you actually don't know if it's clipped or not.
Yeah, so-
because it might be 105 already. It might be already clipped.
Exactly.
or
So
it
what
might
you
not.
do? So what you do with this? I think it's the exact same thing you do with the skin tones. Is basically once you see zebra, you step down or like you reduce the exposure until you don't see zebras anymore, and then you just increase the exposure until you get zebras. And then when you just get zebras, you know you are just getting.
But why
95.
not just do it at 100 plus and know exactly if there's zebra, it is clipped.
You can do
and
that
if
as
there's
well.
no
You
zebra,
can-
then you're good.
I think it's just to get more information out of the highlights.
Just go like even more
Yeah,
down. You
yeah,
mean?
a
Yeah.
little bit
Okay.
more.
So you have
But to be
some-
fair, like
some
I know a
room.
lot of people use that, like you do with like skin tones and stuff. Like I've never really used it. I just find false color to be like a lot more.
I do
easier
too.
to read.
But when it has to be fast and I don't want to push a button, I just want to see it.
yeah, that's
Because false color, you're not going to leave on while shooting.
No.
Zebras, on the other hand, you can kind of leave on because it's not disturbing too much while
Yeah.
watching.
And some like most cameras have zebra. Like not a lot of cameras have
False color.
False
Yeah,
color.
that's true.
So you might need to if you like for instance you shoot on like a Sony Alpha, then you don't have false color. Zebra is a good bet for you
Yeah.
to like start getting the right exposure. Use Phil's technique for skin tones. I think it's much more clever.
It's very
But
fast.
then again,
it's very fast.
It's the same
definitely.
thing. You mentioned the 95. The same thing with the skin tones. How do you know you're not overexposing?
The thing is, you can set the skin, like for some cameras, you can set it at like one, like let's say your camera, like you can find this online, like you best expose S-Log3 at like, I say 50%. And then you can say, show me the zebras at 50 plus minus 3.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
so you'll be in a very short range around that.
That makes
and
sense.
then as soon as you see zebras, you're pretty
So
spot
same
on
thing
your
with the highlights, basically.
If you do this, then yeah.
Yeah.
But just then it's open.
Yeah.
Above, like you can be at 110, it's still zebras.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only thing that
Yeah, that makes sense.
I find difficult.
Don't
sometimes.
listen to me.
No, do. Definitely do.
We're done this.
That was heavy, huh?
shit! I thought we were doing
That
like
was
20 minutes.
filmmaking
maybe.
A to Z.
That's a really good one, though.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, if you are listening still, thank you, because I think I
You
would
definitely
have.
deserve a clap if you're still
Yeah.
listening.
Thank you to.
How long was that?
an hour?
An hour.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a good episode.
Good episode. Good episode.
Yeah, let us know if you like that. That was kind of something different that we haven't done yet. We have done some different fun stuff and
Yeah.
random stuff.
We should do that more often, though. I feel like it's nicer.
If you guys like it, we'll definitely do it. And if you have ideas like this, then
Comment down below if you like it. What do you
we
do?
could do an advanced session next time. Like no easy topics, only advanced.
I mean, we kind of struggled with like the easy ones. So.
Well, Studio Binder will help us. They have a nice terminology
Yeah,
online.
Studio
If you want
Binder.
to check it out, it's Studio Binder. Like I said before,
Yeah, don't check it out. Just listen to our podcast. It's much better, anyways. I'm just kidding.
Studio
Studio Binder
Binder.
sponsor us.
yeah.
All right, now.
That's it. See you next week. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
now.
Goodbye.